Hello everyone, Avner from Logic Wiz here. Today we have a board which includes a sandwich variant, one of my favorite variants to play. I really like the logic. I like the hunt for 1 and 9 location in the board, and we are getting many questions from users who want to try the sandwich variants and basically don't know how to approach it. So I'm going to make an effort to show how I approach sandwich Sudoku. Probably other approaching it in a different way, but that's how I do it, and hopefully it will get some more users to try this great variant. So the board today, let's get to it. The board today include 3 variants: non-consecutive, Thermo, and sandwich. Non-consecutive rules are that consecutive digits cannot be next to one another, meaning 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 5 and 6 cannot be one next to another and cannot be on top of one another. The Thermo variant, the Thermo lines are the line with the bulb at the beginning. The digits along a Thermo line have to be in ascending order, meaning the smallest digits on the circle or the bulb. And from there to the end of the line, digits have to be in ascending order, meaning if we have here 2, this one has to be 3 or greater, and so on till the end. And we have the sandwich variant. The numbers to the left of the rows or top of the columns correspond to the sum of digits between 1 and 9 in each row column. So for example, if we look at the number 4, if 1 is here between the 1 and the 9, the sum of all the digits have to be 4. The combination panels on top of the board shows you what are the possible combinations to get to the sum of 4. In the case of 4, it's only the digit 4. The same way in the case of 2 or 3, it's only the digits 2 or 3. And there is the larger number that you can have more digits fitting between them. And if you get to a conclusion that a combination is not possible, you can click on that combination. And basically it means that you have determined that this combination is no longer possible for this row. One thing else to add, the maximum sum for row or column will be 35, which is all the digits between 2 and 8, including 2 and 8. So this is the maximum sum for a row or column, the sum of 35. Now, if you look at the board in our game and you don't know what are the rules, you click on the icons here at the top, and you see a summary of the rules. So classic Sudoku rules, meaning each row, columns, or box have to have the digits 1 to 9 exactly once. The non-consecutive I've explained already. And if you want more information about the variant, click the more here, and you will see a board with examples and a full explanation, and in some cases even tips how to solve it. So let's get to it. My first order of business when I see a sandwich variant is to determine where 1 and 9 cannot be on the board, and I'm doing it either by looking at variants which restrict the appearance of 1 and 9, or looking at the larger sum that I know that there are some locations in the middle that cannot have the 1 and 9. So when I look at this board, I see the Thermo line. In the middle of the Thermo line, 1 and 9 cannot be, because on a Thermo line, 1 can be only in the beginning of the Thermo line and 9 can be only at the end of the Thermo line. So I'm marking all the locations in the middle of the Thermos, and I'm using the X sign to mark that those locations are not optional for 1 and 9. Then continuing with the largest sum on the board, I'm looking at the 28. It's composed either of 5 digits or 6 digits. basically meaning that here in those three locations 1 and 9 cannot be. And the reason is that no matter to which direction you're going to go, you are not going to fit 5 digits from any of those spots. From here we can get to maximum 4 digits, and we need at least 5 digits. From the middle we're going to have to either side only 3 digits, so all those 3 locations cannot have 1 and 9, which basically mean also that those 3 locations are still optional for 1 and 9. We don't know which one is the 1 and 9, but they're optional. The second largest number is 27. Again, 5 and 6, the same logic exactly. Those 3 cells cannot have the 1 and 9. I mark them with an X. Now, those locations can have the 1 and 9. This location can have a 1 and 9. This one, since it's the beginning of a Thermo, can have only the digit 1. The next one, let's look at the 25. We have either 4 digits, 5 digits, 4 or 5 digits. So the middle place is immediately cannot have 1 and 9 because we don't have 4 digits to any direction. How about this one? Theoretically we can have 4 digits to the left. However, in the last cell we can no longer have 1 and 9 because the 28 here limits the appearance of 1 and 9 here. Therefore, also here we cannot have 1 and 9. So I mark this one with an X. Now those two are optional for 1 and 9. This and this can have 1 and 9. And again, here, since it's the beginning of a Thermo line, we can have only 1. Now we have an interesting situation in this box. The only place we can fit 1 and 9 is here in the middle. And both of them have to be here in the middle. So I'm going to mark it. Now the sum of the row is 0. So we know at least that in the middle, we don't know yet if it's 1 or 9, but it have to have either 1 or 9. I will mark it. When I'm playing myself, I don't do it, but just for everyone to see it. Now let's look at the 4 here. We know that 4 can have only 1 digit, 4, so 4 must be in either direction of the 1 or 9 here in the middle. And we know that the other 1 or 9 have to be either here or here. Now, those two locations are the end of a Thermo line. They can have only the digit 9, meaning, sorry, they cannot have only the digit 9, but one of them have to be 9, and it cannot be 1. Therefore, 9 is an optional here, but 1 is no longer option here, which basically makes this digit have to be 1. Okay, and we have 9 in one of the directions of the one in the middle row. Let's look here at the 6 because it's also interesting in terms of the sum. 6 can compose, of course, the sum of 6, but since it is at the edge of the comb, we cannot put 1 and 9 around it, so I'm eliminating it, meaning our 6 has to be composed of 2 digits. And since we have already some eliminations here, let's look here what's going on. Can 1 and 9 be here? If it was here, the other one will have to be here on the X, but we cannot have it here, so therefore we cannot have it there. Here we can have obviously only a 9, and if we have 9 here, 2 digits will take us to another 9, which not valid. Cannot have 1 and 9 here. Can we have it here? 1 or 9. 2 will take us to an X. We can no longer have it there. So therefore, also cannot have it here, which basically leave us only one option right now. This one have to be a 9, 2 digits, and then the 1 is over here. There is no other option. So now we know that this is our 9. This is our 1. And we have to put between them the digits 2 and 4. 4 cannot be here, because we know that here in the middle we must have the digit 4, so therefore this one must be 2. And this one must be 4. Great, let's go to the next largest sum on the board, and I will go to this 26 over here. Again, 4 or 5 digits. We cannot have here 1 and 9 in the middle, so I'm marking it an X. Here we have 4 digits to the left, so 1 and 9 are still optional, and of course obviously here they're optional, so I'm going to mark those cells as optionals for 1 and 9. And here I forgot to mark those location as not optional for 1 and 9. Let's look at the sum of 21 here. It's either 3 digits, 4 or 5. Now the 3 digits here is composed of 6, 7, 8, which is not valid in a non-consecutive game, because no matter which way we will order those 3 digits, we will always get consecutive digits next to another. So I'm eliminating the 3 and we are remaining with only 4 and 5 digits. So basically all those locations can have the 1 and 9. Here at the end of a Thermo line we can have only 9 as an optional, and here at the beginning of a Thermo line we can have only 1 as an option. Now let's look here at the box, because this is where you can make smart decisions based on the 1 and 9 location. We know that here we can have only one of the 1 and 9, meaning we cannot have 2, because the length of the 21 is at least 4 digits. So one of them is over here, meaning the other one has to be in a different location in the box. The only location which is possible is here, the 9. Therefore, this one must be a 9. And it gives us another idea. We know that the sum of this row is 4. 1 can no longer be here. So I'm deleting this one and putting it an X. We know something else. We know that also here 1 cannot be, because 4 can be only only one digit, which is a digit 4. So I'm deleting this one as well and putting it an X. We know also something else, that now 4 cannot be here, because we have already a 4. 4 must be here, and the 1 must be here. And it also helps us right now solve this cone. We know again that the 4 can composed of one digit only, the digit 4. Therefore 9 can no longer be here, because we don't have room for the 4. So I am putting here an X. Now 4 cannot be here, because we would need to have here 9. We already have a 9, and this is a second location on Thermo line which cannot have the 9. Therefore 4 must be here, and the 9 here is here. And now here the sum is 26, therefore 1 can no longer be here. Now deleting it, putting here an X, therefore 1 must be here. Okay, now let's look at this column, 4 or 5. 4 will take us here, 5 will take us here, therefore this one is no longer an option. I'm deleting it. I'm putting here an X, and of course I didn't put this one here, but this one has to be the digit 4. Now let's look at the 19 over here. 3 or 4 digit. We don't have 3 digit to this direction. We know now also that the 3 or 4 digits to this direction cannot include the number 4, so I'm eliminating all the combinations that have the digit 4 in them, and we remain with only 2 optional options for this column between the 1 and 9, 5, 6, 8 and 2, 3, 6, 8, which is 3 or 4, meaning 9 can be in only those two locations. Let's go back to the 26 again, 4 or 5. We don't have 4 till here, so I'm deleting this one, putting it an X, no longer optional. Those two are still optional because to the one we have 4 digits and to this one we have 5 digits. But basically we know right now that the rest of this box is excess, cannot have the 1 and 9 because we have already 2 in this box. We know that here we cannot have 1 and 9. I'm putting here excess as well. Let's look, and of course those two locations can no longer have 1 and 9. Okay, let's look at the 10 here. 10 is 2 or 3 digits. We don't have 2 digits to this 9, we have only 1 digit, therefore the 9 can no longer be here. So I'm removing this 9, I'm putting it here an X, which basically also tells us that now 9 must be here. And if I'm going back to the 10, over here, we can have here only 2 digits to this 9, which is still optional, and we don't have here 2 because we have already 1 and 9. I should have put an X here before. And the other option for 9 would be here. So those two locations cannot have 9, and this one cannot have a 9. Let's look at the sum of 9 over here. 4 and 5 cannot be a solution of this 9 because those are 2 consecutive digits that will have to be one next to another. I'm eliminating it. So we have 2 or 3 digits. The 2, 3, 4 are also not an optional solution to this 9 because no matter which order we will order them, we will get 2 consecutive digits next to another, meaning if we'll start with 3, after 3 we'll have the 2 or 4, 3 and 4 will be consecutive. If we'll start with 2, we'll get either 3 next to it or 4 next to it, but if 4 next to it, on the other side of 4 there's going to be a 3, and the same idea if 4 will be in the other side. Therefore, this one is no longer an option. And in order to have the 1 to the left of the 9, it will have to include the number 4. But we don't have any option with the digit 4. Therefore, 1 cannot be on the left side of the 9. I'm deleting this one, and I'm going to put excess in all here. And now it leaves us only with one option for the 1, which is on the right side on the 9. 2 cells apart, and here is the 1. Let's look at this column. The sum is 0. 0 means basically that 1 and 9 are next to each other. We cannot have 9 here, which basically leaves us only here with an option to have the 9. And now here I should have marked this with an X. Let's look at the 27. 27 again, 1 can no longer be here because we need to have 27 between the two. So I am going to delete this one and enter here an X. And we know now that the sum of 27 have to have the number 2 in it. This one doesn't. So it leaves us with those 2 options, and those 2 are still valid. Now let's look at the sum of 21. 21, 3, 4 or 5 digits. Again, 6, 7, 8 cannot be the answer because 3 consecutive digits, no matter which way we'll order them, will get 2 consecutive digits, one next to the other. So it leaves us with 3 or 4 digits for this sum. 3 or 4 digits to the sum, meaning one will have to be here, and the other one will have to be here. Now, can this be a solution? No, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will get us here. Therefore, this one is no longer the solution. I delete it. I put here an x. Another thing, the sum have to include the sum of 6. So let's remove all the options which don't include the sum of the digit 6 in them. We remain with 3 options, all of them in the length of 4. So now can this one be the solution? 1, 2, 3, 4 will lead us to an x. This can no longer be the solution. I remove this one, put x in here. Now we know that this one must be either 1 or 9, and the other one have to be actually this one, because this is the only option for 4. So therefore this one can go. Now we know that this one have to be a 9, right? And this one have to be 1. Okay, let's before we do that, actually, I see that we have in this box only one location remain for the 9, so I'm going to put 9 here, because that's the only place it can go, which basically, I think in order to reach 28, the only location we can have the 1 is over here, if I make no mistake. And to the 19th, since now here we cannot have 1 9 anymore, and we need to have at least 3 digits, which do not include the digit 4, the only place we can put the 9 is over here. Okay, the sum of 14, 2, 3, or 4 digits, we cannot have 2 digits to this one. Therefore, this one is gone, and the only other option is over here. And also here I think we are not remaining with a lot of options, because here we need to have x. This one need to be the 1. The other one need to be the 9. And if I make no mistakes, we are done with the 1 and 9 of the board. Okay, now that we are done with finding where the 1 and 9 on the board, basically the x's serve their purpose. So I'm going to remove them from the board to clean the board a bit. I'm executing a long press on the erase button. I get this clear dialog. I mark all X symbols, press OK, and now I have a cleaner board that it's easier to process. So let's start to look at some of the digits here. I'm looking at this box, for example. 3 can no longer go here because it's consecutive to the 4. Cannot go here. I'm sorry. So 3 can go only here. Let's look at this box. 8 can no longer be here or here because it's consecutive to the 9. It can not go here also in this cell because we are not going to have any digit to put at the end of the Thermo line. So 8 here can go only here. Let's look at the digit 2 also here. 2 cannot be here because we are not going to fit any numbers on the Thermo line between the 1 and the 2. 2 cannot be here because it's consecutive to the 1. and 2 cannot be at the third place in a Thermo line. It's the only place it can be if there is 1 on the Thermo line is next to the 1. Therefore 2 must be in this location. Now let's look at the sum of 21. Since we know already 3 digits out of the 4, we know about 6, 2 and 8. Basically we know which digit is this. 10 plus 6, 16. We have 5 remaining, and 2, 5, 6, 8, it's basically the sum. We don't need to do what I just did, but just to make it cleaner. Now in this row, the remaining digits are 3, 4, and 7. 3 and 4 cannot be here because they are consecutive. So we know that 7 must be here, and in this cell we can have only 3 and 4. So I'm going to mark 3 and 4 here, and in those two cells we have 3, 4, and 7. Okay, let's see if we can make a little bit more. Which digits do we still have here? We have 1, 2, 3 cannot be here. 3 definitely cannot be here because we are not going to have any digit to fit between the 1 and the 3 because 2 must be here, so 3 must be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 are the digits that we miss. 5 cannot be here next to the 4, so 5 must be here. And 7 must be here. Okay, let's look at the middle box again. 8 cannot be here. 8 cannot be here, and 8 cannot be here. So those are the only locations where we can have 8. Now that we know that 8 is here, this one must be 2. And this one must be 8. Okay, let's see if we can have something else in this box. 5 cannot be here. 5 cannot be here, therefore this one must be 5. Okay, how about 6? 6 cannot be here. 6 cannot be here, therefore 6 must be here. So we have now a pair of 6 and 8. 3 must be here. And 2 have no options but to be between the 1 and a 3 on the Thermo line. Therefore, this one is a 2. And the only remaining digit here is 7. Okay, what do we miss here in this column? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We miss here a 7. Okay, now 8 cannot be next to the 7. 8 cannot be next to the 9. It cannot be next to the 9, so 8 must be here. The two digits we miss here are 2 and 6. 6 cannot be here. So 6 must be here. And therefore 2 is here. Now, since 7 is no longer an option here, and 9 it is not an option here, 8 must be here. And we have 3 is missing, 3 can be only here. And 5. Now we have a lot of digits of this sum. Let's look at it. We know that 4 and 7 must be in it, and then 1 of 6 and 8. So this one is an option. This one include, but it has to have 4 digits. Basically, because it's only 4 digits, only one sum can fit there. Therefore, this one must be 6 and 8 as well. Okay, we have also a lot of digits of this sum, and we know already what is this digit. Since those are 27, this have to be 35 minus 27, so it has to be an 8. Now we are missing here 4, 6, and 7. 4 cannot be here, both because of consecutive and the 4 over there. Therefore, this one is 6 and 7. And those two cells must be 4, 6, and 7. Okay, let's look at the sum of 9 over here. It's either 3, 6 or 2, 7. 2, 7 is no longer option. This one have to be 3 or 6. Or 6. Let's look at the sum of 10 over here. It has to be only 2 digits, cannot include 3. And it either 2 and 8 or 4 and 6. Those two are still optional. Here I can mark the digits over here. I would rather not. Oh, sorry, I missed it. We have a 6 here. We have a 6 here. Therefore, this one must be 4 and 6. And now we know the 3 digits over here. It should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 7, and 8. Okay. 8 cannot be here because it's consecutive to the 9, so I'm going to remove an 8. Now, can 7 be here in the middle? If we have 7 here in the middle, 8 cannot be in either side of the 7, and 8 must be in one of the sides of the 7. Therefore, 7 doesn't go here. This one have to be a 2. This one can no longer be 3 now, 6. And 3, now we know that this one is a 4. 7 and 8, we cannot do determination of which one is where. Let's look at those 3. We have now 2, 5, and 8. Now 8 cannot be here for multiple reasons. We gonna remove it. 2 can no longer be here because it's next to the 1, so it's only 5 and 8, and 5 cannot be here because of the 4. Okay, we can figure out what is this digit. It's 14, so this one must be 5. Okay, let's see what do we miss here. We are missing here 2. 2 obviously cannot be here. 2 can be only here. We miss here 3. 3 cannot be next to the 2. Therefore, this one must be a 3. And then the other digit we miss here is 5, right? It is 5. So those two must be 2 and 5. Okay, let's look at the sum of 26 here. It has to be 5 digits and has to include 2, 5, and 7. So does not include 2, 5, and 7. Does not include. It leaves us here with 4 and 8. 8 cannot be here. Therefore, this one is an 8. This one is a 4. Now we know that this one is a 6. This one is a 4. This one must be 2. 5 and 8. Now 7 cannot be next to the 6. This one must be a 3. This one is a 7. 2 and 5. What do we miss? What do we miss here? We still have 6 and 7. It's better to look at this one. we have the sum of 15 with 2 and 4 and 4 digits, so we have 2, 4, we are missing 3 and 6, therefore this one must be 6. This one must be a 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing, and it has to be here. And the other one that is missing is 7. Okay, now we know that this one is a 7. This one is a 4, 8, and 7. For 6, 8, 6. What do we miss here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 must be here. And 8. This one must be an 8. Which digits we miss here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goes here, and therefore Sudoku rule 7 must go here. What do we miss here? 3 and 2 and 3. 2 cannot be here, therefore this one must be a 3. This one must be 2. And again, we are missing here 2. This one must be 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is a 6. We are missing here 3. 3 can go only here. And 4, 5, 6 is missing. 6 must go here. And then 5 and 8. 8 must go here. And the last one, 5 goes here. So just hope you enjoyed the board. This is how I approach Sandwich Sudoku. I think it's make it easier, it's fun. I really like the search for the 1 and 9. It was not too complicated in these boards. There are boards which offer a significantly higher level of complication, but it was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. You're going to have a link under the board that you can try this board for yourself, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.